clean chassis, man.
Start. Bhagavan api Vishwatma Lokaveda Pathanugaha Kaman Shisheva Dvaratvam
Kaman sisve dvatayatam
Kaman Shisheva Dvarvatyam
Kamashisheva dvarvatyam
Asaktaha Sankyam Asitaha
Ashakta Shankyam Ashitaha
Bhagavan api Vishwatma
Bhagavan api Vishwatma
Bhagavan api Vishwatma
Bhagavan api Vishwatma
Lokaveda Pathanugaha
Lokaveda Pathanugaha
Aman Shisheva Dvaratyam
Kamashisheva dvarvatyam
Aman Shisheva Dvaratyam
Kamashisheva dvarvatyam
Sankyam Asitaha
Ashakta Shankyam Ashitaha
Bhagavan api Vishwatma
Bhagavan api Vishwatma
Anugaha
Lokaveda
Kaman Shisheva Dvaratvam
Kamashisheva dvarvatyam
Taha Sankyam Asitaha
Ashakta Shankyam Ashitaha
Bhagavan, the personality Godhead, Api also, Vishwa Atma, the super soul of the universe. Loka, customary, Veda, Vedic principles. Pata Anugaha, follower of the path. Kaman, the necessities of life. Shisheva, enjoy. Dwara, Tyam, in the city of Dwaraka. Asaktaha, without being attached. Sankyam, knowledge in Sankhya philosophy. Asitaha, being situated. Simultaneously, the personality Godhead enjoyed life in the city of Dwarka, strictly in conformity to the Vedic principles of society. They are situated in detachment and knowledge as initiated Sankhya system of philosophy. Simultaneously, the personality Godhead enjoyed life in the city of Dwarka, strictly in conformity with the Vedic customs of society. They were situated in detachment and knowledge as initiated by the Sankhya system of philosophy. Yes, who wants to read? Yes, you want to read? Samyukta Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. While Maharaja Yudhishthira was the emperor of the earth, Lord Sri Krishna was the king of Devakara and was known as the
Dwarkadhish.
Dwarkarisha. Like others, subordinate kings, he was under the regime of Maharaja Yudhishthira. Although Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme emperor of the entire creation. While he was on his earth, he never will,
Violent.
will violated the principles of the Vedic injunctions because they are the guide for human life, regulated the human life according to the Vedic principles, which are based on the system of knowledge called Shankaya uh, uh, pres-
Philosophy.
response
Philosophy.
philosophy is the real way of enjoyment of the necessity of life. Without such knowledge, detachment and custom, so the so-called human
Civilization.
civilization is no more than an animal society of eat, drink and marry and enjoy. The Lord was acting freely
As they will.
as he willed, yet by his practical example he taught not to lead a life which goes against the principles of detachment and knowledge. Attainment of knowledge and detachment, as very honorably discussed in Sankhya philosophy, is real perfection of life. Knowledge means to know that the mission of the human form of life is to end all the miseries of material existence, and that is spread spirit of having to fulfill the bodily necessity in necessities in a regular way. One must be detached from such animal life, fulfilled the demands of the body is animal life. The fulfilling the mission of spirit soul is human vision.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Thanks,
Pancha
Prabhuji.
Vacha Kripa Sindhave Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatute Shatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Bhagavan api Vishwatma Lokaveda Pathanugaha Kaman Shisheva Dwaratyam Asaktam Sankhyamasitaha. Simultaneously, the personality Godhead enjoyed life in the city of Dwarka, strictly in conformity to the Vedic customs of society, was situated in detachment and knowledge and administrative of the Sankhya system of philosophy. So that is what is this detachment and knowledge? Actually, that is the proof of our spiritual advancement. How do you know we are spiritually advanced? Look for this jnana vairagya. Are we getting more and more attracted towards Krishna? Are we developing nice wisdom and realizations about Krishna jnana? Are we developing vairagya, detachment from the enjoyment of the senses? Then we know we are advancing spiritually. So it's very easy. Prabhupada used to joke. We don't have to run around people and asking whether my stomach is full. Stomach is full and stomach is full. So same way, spiritual life is also like that. When we take up the proper sadhana, then we feel total nourishment, or hunger is finished, and you feel total detachment. Bhakti pareshanubhava virakti anyatra sad. You feel total detachment from material enjoyment. So Prabhupada is saying very beautiful lines here. He says there is a difference in a spiritual or material world. Spiritual world is different and material world is different. And he sums it to the last line. What is that? Fulfilling demand of the body is animal life, and fulfilling demand of the soul is spiritual life, human life. So some people who in human form of life also become dictated, by the demand of the senses. They are living an animal life. For somebody who is able to control the senses, he is actually human life. So there is no force. We have to make a decision. What should control us? So Krishna gives an opportunity through Devatas for us to straighten our life. Otherwise, it's a matter of time we go to animal kingdom. What's wrong? Yeah, what's wrong? We'll come to know when you go there. All the animals constantly live in a stage of fear. You've seen birds. You put some grain, it eats, it looks left, it looks right. So much fear. Take fish. There's simply one principle in the ocean. Just open mouth and swallow, that's all. Small fish, bigger fish, bigger fish, bigger fish, bigger fish. So much dangerous existence. So as you go down lower in the species, you find so much fear, so much anxiety. And human civilization means shanti. Our demands of the body are eating, sleeping, and all these demands of the body. But these are also met in human form of life, but in a sober way. Those who are disturbed, like the thieves, rogues, or the animals who attack us, they take away all our wealth. They destroy whatever wealth we have. They're capable of doing that. So spiritual world is different. Spiritual world is a world of love. Material world is a world of lust. In spiritual world, the only thought is how to benefit the Lord. The happiness and satisfaction of Krishna. And also in spiritual world, many pure devotees are there, like Narada. And there, person take association. And he asked him, just like you're reading Bhagavatam, he's asked, how did he achieve the perfection? They're asking Narada Muni, how did he achieve the unique place in the Lord's heart? He's very, very dear to the Lord. Oh, my dear Narada Muni, how did he achieve this? Because it was very much needed. So just focusing the demands of the body is animal life. But taking care of the demands of the soul is spiritual life. Taking care of the demands of the body. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Tapaskriya Apranasi Hinasya Mandalam Lokaranjanam. If I am devoid of Bhagavad Bhakti, whatever it may be, Hina, Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Tapaskriya. Maybe great activities going on, great learning is going on, great austerities are going on. It's all like Shramevi Keval. It's just waste of labor. It's of no use. So we should be sober in activities of spiritual life. Then we don't break people's heart. And we encourage everybody to enhance his pure devotion service to Krishna, and he happily be blessed. So very sweet line, Prabhupada, that now if whole day we are planning how to meet the demands of the body wants to sleep, give nice bed, soft bed, body wants to eat, give him the best food he can get, and whatever he wants he can. But we see there are many people are having this and they're not satisfied. So I'm not saying we don't do treatment when there are problems, but the point is this, that Krishna is in control, total control. Here he's seeing the situation. Demands the mission of spirit soul in the human civilization. So human civilization means Atada Brahma Jigyasa. In human civilization, now let us inquire about absolute truth. That is human civilization. So long in lakhs of form, we were involved in sense enjoyment. Somehow, by good fortune, we met the devotees. We heard them submissively, and our spiritual life has begun. Okay? Spiritual life has begun. And now we are taking pleasure in the advancement in spiritual consciousness, waves, results of Krishna consciousness. So human life has to be regulated. The regulated human life is according to the Vedic principle based on system of knowledge called Sankhya philosophy, the real enjoyment of necessities of life. So there is a lot of knowledge given in Bhagavad Gita, how we can live a regulated life. In fact, Krishna says it, regulative principles of freedom. Very nicely coins the word. Because you like to be free, but don't be free from sinful activities. In the sense, don't become like unconcerned about sinful activities. You can do it any day. Parents come home, they do something. Generally, children are very naughty nowadays. And they will tell you, I'm sorry, I drink. What you'll do? What you'll do? Actually, it's a reality. Lord is acting freely as He willed. Prabhupada says there is no obstacle can be put in the enjoyment of the Lord. So he took some water. But Prabhupada is saying human civilization no more than animal society, eat, drink, we marry and enjoy. Present human civilization. Prabhupada says present human civilization is a royal edition of foolishness. People are simply imagining anything, everything. And then there is no knowledge of Krishna. So there is detachment and knowledge. We can show how spiritual life is developing. There is advancement in spiritual life. And attainment of knowledge and detachment shows our progress. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita also, when Arjuna says in the previous chapters, Krishna, I cannot control a mind. Maybe I can control wind. So similarly, at that situation also, he was like that. But when he was demanded of Draupadi that he had to do something, then Bhima came into action. And one of the places he makes a pulp of the dirty, he makes a pulp, one box, a hand legs, put everything inside in the body. He was so powerful. So Prabhupada is saying the mission of human life is to end all the material existence, that in spite of having to fill the body in a regulated way, detaching such animal life. So we have body, nobody is denying that. We have requirement for the body, agreed, that also that, but that should not take all our energy. If you are keeping a disbalance like that, then children will not be able to live long in that house. Lord acts freely as He wills. Nobody can stop Him what He wants to act. But we can know our advancement by studying principles of detachment and knowledge. Attainment of knowledge and detachment, very elaborate description in the Sankhya philosophy. See, in Bhagavad Gita, the metal word is also analyzed very nicely. And Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna give a tool for Vedic psychologists to employ. He can take it to action. It's perfectly true. Modern philosophy is what today there is something, tomorrow there is something, there is so much change. But in Krishna consciousness, it's the same philosophy. It's only our level of realization by sincere practice that is what is waiting. So one should be proper, say, detached from animalistic life. Okay? Don't be engrossed by the demands of the body. Rather, saying how I can give pleasure to the Lord. Where is the Lord present in front of me? How can I serve Him? That's all we should be. And be happy eternally. But somehow we don't take shelter. We think we don't need a guru, we don't need a teacher, and we create some whimsical philosophy. Then we are the one going to not be clear. So the mission of the human form of life is to end all the misery the material existence, inspired how to fulfill body and a regulated boundary detached from such animal. So actually materialistic life means animal life. Person is working hard. Divacharte haya rajan tumba bharane nava nidraya hriyate naktam vayena cha vamayaha. So nicely said. So our time is advancing. It is becoming very dangerous as the time grows. Anytime you have to leave the body. So we should take full advantage of human life and take advantage of the beautiful principles which are there. Just like in Krishna says the Bhagavad Gita, that you do this, Arjuna, you can do this. But he has to understand what to say yes or no. The spiritual knowledge is a gift from the Lord. You cannot force it. Tarka pratyasha shruteya vibhinna. You will not get it by argument. You will not get it by some learning, this book, that book. These books have not academic reading. They have to be read by respect. And then these books properly reveal their full potency. The regulated human life, according to Vedic principle, the base system of knowledge is called Sankhya philosophy, is a real way of enjoyment in the necessities of life. Without such knowledge, attachment, and custom, the so-called human civilization is to more or less an animal society, eat, drink, marry, and enjoy. Unfortunately, this is a situation today in the youth. College time maybe 60-70%. They go to company 90% drink and smoke. And then they go to suffer very soon. 1% people go. So there is so much suffering. I'm not in a situation of suffering, but that's a fact. So the Sankhya philosophy means counting, and person can understand I'm not the body, counting the mind, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intelligence. In so many ways, we can actually understand the situation we are. Somehow, labdava sudallabam idam sahu bahu sambhavante. By great fortune, by great rarity, idam bahu sambhavante, you have taken a human form of life. Turnam yateta anumritu yava. Quickly end away before death comes. Don't wait. Vishaya kala sarvatasya. You go and look at sense enjoyment that is available everywhere. So, let me just take some more points from the purpose. So, regulated life is what we recommended in the Shastra. And many people say religion is the way of life. No, based on the Shastra, not your whims. That will have no meaning. The so-called human civilization without attachment and this thing is just actually an animal civilization. Today, hardly there is any training for purification. So, Vidura is taking pleasure. Personality got to enjoy life in the city of Dwarka, strictly in conformity to the Vedic principles, so that not to set a bad example. So anybody can look at that. Oh, Krishna did like that. In fact, when Krishna washed the feet of Sudama, it's so encouraging. A pure soul, when it comes to a place or temple, we should honor it. Right? So it's very nice. Hare Krishna.